Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back. VIP Room episode 6. I'm back here, with my dog, OU legend, current Giants receiver right now, Sterling Shepard, bro. How you feeling?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling good, bro. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, of course, but I'm glad. Appreciate you coming on. But let's get right to it. So, first thing I want to ask, coming out of high school, he was a big recruit, 4-star. He was like number two player out of Oklahoma. So I wanted to ask you because I think you had I think you had Bama's, you had the Clemson and stuff. Like, how hectic was your recruiting process in high school?
Was I number two? Hold on. I thought I was number one. Coming
Now,
up.
when I looked at the 24/7, it says you was number two on in Oklahoma.
What year? What year?
2012, I think 2012 was your recruit
2012 coming out.
because
Yeah. Okay.
the only
That might have been right. Who was number one? You
Alex
remember?
Ross.
Alex Ross was number one? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So he committed to Oklahoma too. He was a
Mm-hmm.
running back. He might have been number one. He was out of Tulsa.
Word.
So yeah. That you might be right on that. Dang. I had told my girl the other day, I was like, yeah, I was number one player in the state, blah, blah, blah. Nah, I was number two. But yeah, I mean it was pretty hectic. Like started to pick up my junior year, I'd say, after the state championship game. We won a state championship and I went crazy the second half of that game. And I got my first offer, and that was from Oklahoma State. And you know how that go, like once you get one, they just start rolling in. So I ended up getting most of the Big 12, started getting some ACCs, and then the SEC started rolling in too. So but I was only waiting on one offer, bro. I was waiting on Oklahoma. You know, my dad and my uncles, they all played there. So like I was waiting on that offer. And it was crazy. It was literally my last offer that I got, and it was on my birthday. But I guess they was waiting until my birthday to send me that offer. But I didn't really take any other. I didn't take no visits or anything like that. Like I said, I was just waiting on Oklahoma. So when that one came, I jumped on it.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Oklahoma, how did it feel to be committed? Because I understand the recruiting process when you finally get locked in with a school. So how did it
Mhm.
feel being committed to Oklahoma and I think you talk about your pops being there and stuff. So how did it feel like just knowing that you're going to Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, I was really relieved, bro, because during the process, it's like you constantly being called by all the coaches, you talking to somebody new every day, and
Right.
it just kind of gets overwhelming. You're trying to do your homework and stuff in high school, and trying to keep up with all the stuff on the field, and then having to constantly be in contact with a coach every day. It just kind of gets to be a bit much. I mean, it's cool and it's great to be wanted, but when you finally lock down where you're gonna go, it's honestly the best feeling in the world, especially for me because of the tradition that my family has had at Oklahoma, and the legacy that keeps being led. And yeah, I was just happy to finally get that process over with, and finally go to my dream school.
All right, for sure, for sure. Now, I asked Russell this when he was at talk about his workout and stuff at LSU. So I gotta ask you this: what was your hardest workout that you ever remember at OU? The hardest one.
Bro, we had a dude by the name of Coach Schmitty,
Mm-hmm.
and he's now back at Oklahoma, but he's known to be like one of the toughest strength and conditioning coaches. And so, my rookie year, like he coached with my dad. So everybody knew my dad because my dad coached at Oklahoma after he got done in the league. And so like I have been around these dudes since I was like 6 years old, bro. So they wouldn't let me cut any corners. And I literally remember we used to have to run stadium steps, but like the stadium steps was messed up. Like they had a big stadium step and then a small one in between. So you
Oh,
would, yeah, bro, we
yeah.
used to have to make it up to the top of the stadium steps in like a certain amount of time. And bro, I just could not get my footing right, like on these steps. Nobody could. You'll jam your toe, whatever. It don't matter. You got to keep on going. So I had jammed my toe pretty bad, but I didn't make my time. And we had to do six of them. But I'm talking about the stadium steps long. And so I had did my fourth one and I didn't make that time. It was the last one and I didn't make it. And he was like, "All right, I'll see you back at afternoon." And I was like, bro, and we was dog tired. And it was a couple of us that didn't make it. But like on that last one, if you don't make it in that time, you got to go ahead and redo it. So I had to come back and do it all over again in the afternoon. And this is after practice. So you already tired after practice. So that was probably my toughest one, but I made sure to make them joints afterwards.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because Russ told me they had to do 35 110s. After that, they do 125 up down. So yeah, that's crazy though. Especially
Yeah.
doing that after practice because you dead tired. You don't want to do that.
That's what I'm saying. It was out of pocket, low key.
Yeah, that's for sure. But coming into as a freshman at OU, you were still around with the tour days, right? For fall camp.
Yeah.
So how hard was your first fall camp? Like the experience,
Bro. Like, so my rookie or my freshman year was the last time that we did two-a-days, and like everything was so much easier after that, to be real, and especially when you get to the league, because the two-a-days, I mean, it wasn't like when we got into the league, it was a two-a-day, but it was a walkthrough for the second part of practice. The second practice was a walkthrough. Nah, freshman year, we were out there 2 practices, full on, full pads, in the heat. Like it was a little less heat in the second practice later on in the day, but in Oklahoma, bro, it's that stale heat. So it was tough, man. It was 2 2-hour practices, 1-on-1s, 2 sets of that, 2 sets of everything. And it was tough, bro. It was tough. But luckily I had them fresh legs at that point, so I was straight. But the older guys, man, it was a struggle for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Those we can do a little fast forward real quick to going to your senior year because that was your best year of your year. Coming into you had some dogs. You had Mark Andrews, some J.P. Ryan. You had Baker coming in. If I wanted to ask you, like, if you wanted to rank that team specifically, just versus just any college football team in the world, what do you think that Oklahoma team would be?
Any college football team, any year?
Any year.
I mean,
do y'all think y'all can stack up with them?
It's hard to say because we didn't win. We didn't win it all that year. Yeah. We got close, but we didn't win at all, bro. So it was a team stacked with a lot of talent, but as you know, you got to be able to gel and we did. We gelled. But when it came to them top teams, when it came to Clemson and Deshaun Watson and them boys, like, bro, that second half of that game, it was like they just had more competitive stamina than us. Like they gave it to us the second half. And so like whenever you talk about ranking them teams, I would like to say top 10, but I can't put us there because we didn't win it all. But I mean, it's definitely one to go down as one of the best teams to ever come through Oklahoma for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Again, because Oklahoma, of course, has a lot of history, but I've never actually been able to ask Oklahoma or a Texas player to ask this. So, like, how important, like, the game, like, just that, like, once y'all know that OU Texas is game week,
yeah,
like, how focused are y'all, the experience, and then when y'all play, like, how great is that just to know that y'all about to play Texas? That's probably like a top 2 rival, if not the biggest rival in college football ever.
Yeah, bro. I mean, the tradition of that game is so much hype around that. And like I was trying to explain to Saquon, it's just a different atmosphere because you have the fairgrounds, you got everybody that's at the fair, and the game is right in the middle of the whole fair. So like he took me to a whiteout, and I was like, man, and it's lit. Yeah, you been to a whiteout?
Yeah, because I was there. I was a recruit with the Penn State Michigan one.
Okay, yeah, and it's lit, but
it ain't OU Texas.
Bro. It's not OU Texas, bro. Down south ball is like way completely different, bro. It's like it's true football, and it's hard for me to explain that to him. I just got to bring him to a game. Hopefully, one day I'll be able to bring him to a game so he can experience it. But like, bro, that game has so much hype just because of the rivalry for years, and everybody knows. Like, if you make a play that game, then you're gonna go down into the history book. So like everybody is just hyped up for that game. It's a game that I've been going to since I came out the womb. Like I've been going to that game for forever, and just to be able to play in it, bro, it was a lot of excitement around it. And I mean, there's no feeling like running through that tunnel and you got half orange, you know what I mean? And then you cross that 50. and you got nothing but crimson and cream, and everybody's yelling for you. But like I said, bro, if you make a play in that game, you're gonna go down in the history. So everybody hyped up for that one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because I went to that game as a recruit when it was like Jalen Hurts and CD, and that was too crazy. Because going to a fairgrounds game is kind of crazy. Because the next one I always want to see, because my brother works at Florida. The Florida Georgia game probably be
ridiculous,
especially with the history off it.
Yeah, when I get done playing, bro, I'm gonna go around and check out the different atmospheres for sure. But another thing about that game, though, what I forgot to mention is the reason why we really hate them is because a lot of us didn't get recruited from Texas, and we got a lot of people from Texas on our team. And you know how Texas is; they only, they only trying to pick them 5 stars. You know what I mean? Like anybody, but like they miss out on a lot of home state people, bro, and a lot of people take offense to that, and nobody was really getting recruited from them, so we trying to let them have it.
Yeah, for sure. Hold on. My dog Dawson asked you, how happy were you this year when you saw OU beat Texas?
Oh man, I was happy, bro. It's always a good day when we beat Texas, bro. It's a deep hatred for Texas, bro. Even more so than Okie State. Like Okie State is a rivalry game, but that Oklahoma Texas game, bro, there's nothing like it. But yeah, I was happy, man. We don't have anybody that play for Texas right now on the squad. I don't think. I'm trying to think. Do we have somebody? We ain't got no Texas people because the only one that we had was Colin Johnson.
Yeah, it was Colin.
Yeah, so Colin was on the team, but he no longer with us. So I didn't really have anybody to go at with.
Yo, what's the name? This is my dog Lucas.
What's good, Lucas?
What's going on? It's good.
Chilling.
Yeah, so, we can move it on though. So at the last year OU balled out. So that was the Senior Bowl because I know you got selected for that, and I've never seen like how people talk about the Senior Bowl. I know I asked Hottie this, but what was your Senior Bowl experience like?
Yeah, man, the Senior Bowl was cool. So it's in Alabama, and you get a chance to really get to see what NFL coaching is like, and go through meetings, kind of get a preview of what's about to become. It's a hectic week for sure, just because there's really more hype around the practices than there is the game, because that's where most of the competition is really heightened throughout practice. And then like you only get so many snaps during the game, so everybody got to rotate, everybody got to be able to get seen. But yeah, the practice was cool. Didn't really play much in the game, which I wasn't trying to. Everybody like you're not trying to get hurt out there. Like, let's keep it a band. Right. To be honest, I wasn't trying to be out there at all. So I got like a couple of snaps, and then I let whoever was behind me rock out. But you really make your money there, like during practice. And there's been a lot of guys like you got Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson came in there and he was docked to go like 4th round or something like that. And he was #1 pick. Or first round. So, you can really make some money there if you show out and show what you got. So I think it's beneficial if you're not one of the slotted top guys to go in the early rounds.
Yeah, sure. Lucas, you want to ask something?
I don't know if you asked this before, but obviously you have a really strong relationship with Daniel Jones. We've seen that the past couple of years. Just talk about like what is it like playing with a guy like that who's gone through some adversity with like just how he's played and people have talked about him. Just what is it like being with a guy like that?
Yeah, man, it really just shows you how tough he is, like mentally tough. A lot of times guys can let some of the outside noise get to him, and Daniel's not one of those guys. He's one of those people that he's gonna be the first one in the building and the last one to leave. And when you see him play with the toughness that he plays with, it just makes you want to help him out in any way you can. So I love playing with that dude. And, we also have a relationship off the field. It's one of my best friends. So definitely try to give it my all for him every time I'm out there. And yeah, I love the way he plays, man. He plays with a lot of toughness and grit. So you can't help but like playing with guys like that.
Facts. Shout out my boy Danny. So, I want to ask you, because we went out to we talked about Senior Bowl, but now I want to ask you, how was your draft process going through the NFL draft? How was that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's like one of the only times that you really have you really getting recruited and people are actually trying to find out a lot about you. Like it's it's definitely a process, but I enjoyed it, man. Mine was pretty easy. The combine was a lot. You know what I mean? You're constantly doing something every minute of the day at the combine, and you got to wake up at 5 a.m., go do a drug test, and then run your 40, do all the drills and stuff. So they definitely make it hard on you. But I think it's just a test just to see how strong you are mentally. So that was probably the toughest part about that. But the training and all that stuff, it was all good. And draft day, best day of your life.
I was about to say, because we was about to talk about draft day. Like, run me through how you was feeling draft day, and then when you got your name called by the New York Giants, how did you feel?
Yeah, so like I heard a lot of stuff about maybe going at the bottom of the first. So the first day I was gonna have a party, but I was like, man, it's too close for comfort. Like, I don't want to be one of them dudes that's sitting there with a camera crew because ESPN said that they were gonna come through on whatever day I had the party. And so I was like, it's probably safe just to say come on the second day. And if I go on the first day, cool. So me and my mom was sitting there watching TV on the first day. My name didn't get called, but I knew it was gonna come the next day, but I didn't know how early it was gonna come. So I was like, man, I really don't want this camera crew to be just sitting here all day. Like, I hope my name get called early. I got all my friends, my family, and luckily, I went pretty early in the second round. And when I got that call, man, it was like a monkey jumped off my back, bro. Like, I was super happy about it. I didn't even realize. I was like, man, I'm about to be living in New York. Like, I ain't never lived anywhere else in my life. I lived in Oklahoma my whole life, so making the switch and coming to New York, it was definitely a turnaround for me.
Yeah, for sure. You get drafted. Of course, you got OTAs, mini camp, and stuff like that. But you extremely nervous heading to your first training camp?
Training camp, nah, not really, man. Like, during that time in 16, I had a lot of old heads that were like, they were super cool. They let me know kind of the ropes. And when you got a lot of old heads, like, they're not trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now I kind of get it. I'm in that role. It's like, I'm not trying to go super crazy. Like, you got the young guys that are trying to fly around, trying to, make a name for themselves. And I was too. I was trying to make a name for myself. But at the same time, they made it more of like a relaxed setting for me every day. And, I thank those guys a lot for that. But yeah, I mean, I was a little bit nervous at first, but after a couple of practices, I realized that I could play at this league and at this level. So, I kind of settled in and relaxed and got into my groove.
Facts. How was it? Because I know, of course, 2016, still, Eli was there. Odell was there, and Odell was it still is really for real, one of the star-studded receivers in the league. So how was it being around him, and what was the relationship between you guys?
Yeah, man, we hit it off right away. The first moment I walked into that building, I was walking down the hallway, and they were coming out of the locker room. It was him and Victor. Mm-hmm. And he looked down the hallway. He was like, "Young Shep," and this was the first interaction I ever had with him. Like, I'd seen him on TV. I'd seen Vic on TV for years, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. And I just smiled at him. I went like that, and they was like, "We're gonna holler at you later." But yeah, that was just the start of a friendship, man. And like that's one of my brothers. And I'm very grateful for our relationship and how much he's helped me just throughout my career, especially that first year on just like, just big bro stuff, like letting you know the ins and outs of the league and what to be cautious of and just how to be a pro, man. So he had made some mistakes along the way, and he was like, man, I don't want you to run into the same mistakes that I've made. So here's what you need to do. And it was honestly, it was helpful, man. So having him and Victor and Eli, one of the smartest dudes I've ever played with. So having those guys definitely made my transition a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Real quick. So going back to the draft, was there a team that you might have had a good meeting with, or you had a feeling that you were kind of surprised they didn't take you, maybe in the first round or a couple picks in the second round?
Yeah, it was crazy because Ricky Prohl, he was the receiver coach over at the Panthers at the time. And it's crazy because I played with his son a couple years back, Austin Pro. But yeah, we had hit it off pretty good. I mean, he came through, worked me out. He was like, man, look, we probably gonna take you if we can get if we don't have to get an offensive tackle, I think, or something like that. They had to get an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, and they were like, man, but it's gonna be a battle on which one we're gonna take, but we think about getting you. And so I had a lot of conversations with them, and I thought that was a possibility. And I had some of the people who know it all. They said that I would probably go at the bottom of the first, and they were saying the Panthers too. So I was thinking that it was a pretty good shot I would go there. It just didn't happen that way. Obviously, they had other needs, but yeah, I'm happy I landed where I landed though.
Yeah. And were you surprised that the Giants took you at all?
Man, it was crazy because I really didn't meet with the Giants like that. So I really didn't have any meetings with them, but I guess that's kind of how it goes. Like, they don't really want to show a whole bunch of attention to the person that they're going to pick because they know somebody else could come scoopy. So, yeah, I think somebody had traded up to actually get me, but the Giants were the next pick, and they got me. I think it was like the Raiders or something like that.
It's crazy because Julian Love said the same thing because he literally said no. He met with every other team except for the Giants. That's kind of
bro. I don't even remember really talking to him like that, and I didn't go on a visit there. Like I went to a visit. I went to Pittsburgh. I went to New England, and yeah, those were the only two spots. Like, bro, I didn't even hear anything from the Giants. Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, your rookie year, so I gotta ask you coming into your year, what was your welcome to the NFL moment?
Welcome to the NFL moment, like a hit or something,
like a hit, or like say like you make like a touchdown, the crowd goes like stupid. Like, just anything that you can remember, like the first time something happened, it's like
yeah, bro. I have to say my first tug, like you couldn't have drawn it up a better way because I went through the whole preseason. And like I was taking preseason so serious, as you should. But like I took preseason so serious. I was trying to score, man. I was trying to get in the box. Like that's all I was talking about. And O was always telling me, he's like, be patient, bro. Yours is gonna come at the right time. Like it's cool to score in preseason, but in the regular season when you want to score, and I'm like, for sure. But I'm just trying to get in the box and get my feet wet with it. Like, and it was crazy. So my first game, and O was on the sideline. He was like, "You gonna score on this play," and he set a pick for me. And so I knew when he set that pick, and I got around dude, I was like, "Man, I think I'm about to score." And Eli threw the ball up, scored, and it was special to me because my grandpa was actually at the game, and my grandpa can't really travel that much, but it was close enough. It was in Dallas.
And that was it was the Dallas game, right?
Yeah, Dallas. Yep, it was at home in Dallas. So he drove up and got to see my first touchdown. So, that was a special moment for me.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of things we come into your first year. So I want to ask you this too, because I assume you played Madden before. Yeah. So how was it when you first saw yourself on Madden? And I think, like, how was that? Like, because you played Madden all these years, and you always probably created your play, and then you finally see yourself, and it's like, how did you feel about that?
Right, it was a dream come true, man. Like you said, I have been playing that game for a long time. Always creating players, always putting that number 3 on there. And at the time, I was 87, but it was definitely cool seeing that. And I wish my rating was a little higher, but I had to put in some work first. So I was cool with my rating at the time. It was just more special just to see myself on the game and actually playing. And my boys would always be hitting me up like, I'm playing with you right now. So yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, for sure. How does it feel to be like just as a player alone, like being in the playoff aspect in the playoff game?
Bro, it's one of the most special things to make it to the playoffs, bro. And the thing is, like, my rookie year, I kind of took it for granted because, I come from Oklahoma University where we always playing in big games. Like, we always have a winning season. So, like, winning just came natural to me. And so when I got to the league and we made it in 2016 and we made it to the playoffs, it was kind of like, oh, this is easy. Like, this is what it's all about. But then you get to playing with guys that have been playing for 15 years and ain't never been to the playoffs. Like talking about Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall ain't never been to the playoffs, and he a 15-year vet. Like that just shows you how special it is to make it there. And yeah, I feel like my rookie year, I just took it for granted. I was like, man, this is where we're supposed to be. Like, we're going to keep doing this every year. And I didn't make it back until last year. Unfortunately, I was hurt. So that was my first time making it back in my 8 years.
Yeah, sure. Luz, you want to ask something?
So what is it like? Because this is your third quarterback we've played with, starting quarterback. What is it like playing with Eli Manning, then Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor? Like, how are they different, and what kind of chemistry is like makes it different for you to get targets or whatever? Like, just how is it different playing with three different styles of quarterbacks? Is pretty much what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, you build a different rapport with each quarterback, and everybody's skill set is different. You got Eli, one of the smartest guys in maybe not the most mobile, but definitely has a lot of smarts and knows exactly where you're going to be, when you're going to be there, and is more of a time and thrower. So you have to know that about Eli is like the amount of steps that I take are very important because that he's going to be expecting me to be right here at this time. So I had to know that when I was dealing with Eli, like I couldn't take a step short because it's going to mess up his timing. And then with Daniel, he's a younger guy, and I'm sure Eli was like this at one point in time in his career where his arm strength is just so good it doesn't really matter. Like he can fit it into these little spots. It doesn't really have to anticipate it as much. So having that with Daniel and kind of switching up from the way I was used to being with Eli, and then having more freedom to kind of mix up a little bit more of how I ran my routes. Was something that I had to learn with DJ. And then also just the spin of the ball, bro. Like people don't realize a lot of people's spin of the ball is just different. Like Tyrod's ball, it don't look like it's coming at you fast, but it sneaks up on you real quick. And it's like if you're not locked and loaded and ready, bro, it'll sneak up on you. So just knowing that and that just comes with time and reps. So we try to build that in practice.
Facts. So I want to ask this question because it's a funny question.
I already know what you're gonna ask. I already know what you're gonna ask.
I got to, bro. I got to. So the 2016 infamous boat picture.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Really, what was the plan? Like y'all just went to the slide and chill. Like what was the plan to go down there, bro?
You know what, bro? Like. And I'm going to clear all this up when I get done playing. Because I know Vic then came out on ESPN. He even said his little spiel on what happened. And it's crazy. Like, man, look, we had a lot of time because we were taking the train back home. And we had just clinched the playoffs. And we had about 2 weeks until the game. So, like,
mad time.
Yeah, we had mad time. Like, everybody was going out. Everybody was doing whatever they were doing, going to the city or whatever it was. But everybody was celebrating and had an idea to go to Miami for the night. And that's what we did. But that's what we did. We went to Miami and, it just kind of, it probably wasn't the right thing to do at the time. But I mean, if the picture didn't come out, nobody would even know and it wouldn't even be a thing. But of course, we knew that we were going to have to play a clean game against the Packers. If not, then everybody was going to blame it on that. And we were fully aware. And like I said, it was 2 weeks before the game. But we still knew that, that's just the way the media works. Like we gotta play a perfect game. And we did not do that. So we knew the heat that we were gonna catch from that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they blame it on too.
Yeah, because
they say it's
thinking about it now, bro. 2 weeks is mad time, bro. Like that's mad long. I'm not
real long.
Yeah, I'm not really gonna knock y'all for that, bro. But I gotta want to ask you this because I know I asked every other player who played a position, so I didn't get to ask you this when we was at training camp. So I'm gonna ask you, who do you think are the top 5 receivers in the league? in currently? It don't have to be no order.
No order.
No order.
You gotta go Justin Jefferson. Man, Cooper Kupp. Gotta go with my boy One for the Bengals. I don't know why I'm going blank. LSU boy. Jamar. Gotta go Jamar. Devontae Adams, of course. And bro, this might not be popular, but I'm going Keenan Allen, bro.
I like that one because a lot of players respect Keenan Allen, which I think he deserves.
You gotta respect him, but he don't get the respect he deserves. I feel like man played with so much savviness. Like, bro, when I say a route technician, and don't get me wrong, it's a lot of route technicians out there. Like, not a lot, but there's some route technicians out there. That way, Amari Cooper and Calvin Ridley, they deserve their flowers too. Like, them boys really run routes. So
I like the list.
Yeah.
Who was the hardest DB you ever had to face?
I probably have to say Jalen Ramsey. Somebody asked me that today, but probably Jalen Ramsey, bro. Just because I mean he got a combination of everything, dog. Like, he's fast, he's quick, he got size. You know what I mean? It's hard to do him. Like, he's got length. So, you know, somebody like me, I like to just speed release a lot of times, or just hit him with something real quick and then speed release. But it's tough when you got somebody that's real quick, just as quick as you, and he's a lot taller, a lot longer. So it's just difficult. And then he's able to go inside and play nickel. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of guys that you get that play outside corner, they can't play nickel. So you can move people around. Like, you can move me around and not have me outside. You can have me in a slot, and then I would take advantage of him. But, like, nah, with him, you got to be on your toes at all times, whether it's outside or inside. He can play everything.
Facts. Lucas, you want to ask something before we get up out of here?
Yeah. This is your opportunity to call somebody out. So, what's the DB that you've gotten like the best on? Like, every single time you've played them, it's like, oh, I got this guy's number at all times.
That's a good question.
That is a good question, but, like, bro, everybody is good in this league. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you're going to have a day and then they're going to have a day. Like, that's just the way it goes, bro. Like, there's nobody that is just, like, straight trash in this league. Like, in college, you will run across some guys like, man, I'm about to tear him up, like, the whole game. And if I see him again next year, I'm going to do the same thing to him again. But, like, in the league, bro, you got to be on your toes, because one day you might get this dude, but if they play in the division, y'all play him later on in the season, it's going to be a whole different battle. You know what I mean? So I can't say that I just abuse one dude every single time. Like, I've had dudes where I get catches on them, like, every time that I play them. But, like, me and Malcolm Jenkins, we used to go at it. And that was one of the, like, toughest battles that I had. Like, he was an old head, but he was scrappy, and, like, he was quick too, and he was a safety who could play in the slot. So, like, it was some battles with him. But that team I went off on the most, the Eagles. So
yeah, for sure. Well, that's gonna wrap it up, bro, because I know you hit the 35-minute mark. I know you gotta get up out of here. So I really appreciate you for coming on. I really appreciate everybody in the chat that pulled up. You know, shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out everybody that came in to support. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, tune in. You know, we go live every Tuesday and Wednesday with NFL and college football. We're gonna have more guests on for VIP room. I think Money Gano, Graham Gano might pull up next week. So we're gonna have that. So I appreciate y'all coming out. We out. Peace.